So with it being about over 5 years since the last time DJ Akademiks would post on the war in Chirac, it's still kinda crazy that a lot of people still hold Akademiks responsible for the violence in Chicago, even though he hardly even speaks about Chicago drill artists anymore, especially since he stopped posting on that channel. Violence is still going up, not to mention that the people he was reporting on was supportive of his channel, and to the people who had the most criticism about him more than likely had nothing to do with this situation. And for many years people held his responsibility on Akademiks, saying that he's the reason why a lot of people are dead in Chicago, due to his videos instigating both sides of the rivalry, and him giving the top Chicago drillers nicknames, like for Little J the Chirac Wolverine, for Little Reese the Grim Reaper, and Chief Keef the Chirac Baphomet, where these artists later on will use them nicknames to boost their careers, and I'm pretty sure those names helped their reputation in the Chirac streets. But one thing I would agree on that Akademiks did wrong about the war in Chirac was when he started using satire when people died, which could be taken by the deceased family members and his friends utterly disrespectful.
There is another casualty in the war in Chirac. Now this time around it's a rapper and a savage that goes by the code name Big Cutthroat. Now it sounds like a AOL scream name for one of the ISIS terrorists in Syria, but no, this is actually a Chirac savage in the flesh. Now,
and even years later this would catch up to him when Vic Mensa tried to check him for him making a video on one of his friends named Trey 57.
Like that so many people outside the culture of Chicago, they hyped up the music not knowing that real lives were being affected, deaths and other type of madness happened within the music, and the music was a real life depiction of that. Like, how did you feel about that?
I wanted to slap you in your face, honestly. And I'm just seeing you here, so I'm like, this is a tame environment, so I would keep it to my words, but I really felt as if people exactly like you sensationalized and made a following off of clowning situations that we go through in real life. And I think, you know, niggas ain't had no right. You know, you specifically, like, you ain't never have a right.
And I feel like after that situation, other people started blaming Akademiks for the violence in Chicago. He would finally just stop making videos as a whole and just strictly post to his main YouTube channel. Now keep in mind his last video was in February 2017, which is about almost 5.5 years ago. And I'm bringing that up because just last year, people on Clubhouse were holding Akademiks responsible for a lot of people dying.
With Akademiks, the things that he was reporting really caused a lot of people to die, whether people want to believe it or not.
And keep in mind, like I said earlier, a lot of people saying this weren't even from Chicago, or if they were, they weren't even involved in the violence that Akademiks was talking about in his videos. And Akademiks, his defense would be that the people he report on already had beef before Akademiks already started making videos about them, and that the only reason he started this channel so he could give both sides a light where they could go back and forth instead of just reporting one side of the beef just because they had a bigger artist like Chief Keef. And he also will go on to say, which I think is the most truest and smartest thing, is that it's not like he's digging and looking for this beef that nobody knows about. He's literally already getting this information from the internet on Twitter, where these gang members already had tweets up about them already killing people, claiming that they got all types of bodies and leaving it up on the internet.
Did you know about this and this and this? I said, I found it out on Twitter. No disrespect, and I love King Von, rest in peace. King Von had arguments with niggas about who killed more people on Twitter, I promise you.
And I personally had an issue with this whole situation right here, because all this just shows that a lot of people from Chicago won't take accountability. Instead of blaming Akademiks for a lot of these people dying in Chicago, blame the gang members who get these illegal guns and go out and kill other people just to up the score on the stat sheet. Blame these people's parents for not raising these kids right, where they start out being gang members as young as 7, 8, 9 years old. Blame the police and the government in Chicago for having all these unsolved cases for multiple years. Like, there's so many more issues that people could have started with other than blaming Akademiks. It's almost like they try to use this as a stepping stool just for him to feel guilty over.
Form and covering it may have not fueled anything. That's where the accountability is. But then you had people on there that was just saying, yo, you killed him. Wait, hold on. What you mean you killed him? No, you killed him. Nigga, I've never picked up a gun and aimed it at anything but a firing range.